While driving north on I-275 in Tampa, heading back to my good friend Max's house, he broke a few moments of silence with a strange statement. He had received a phone call from the U.S. government. It was probably the FBI, asking him about an email that supposedly had been sent from Professor Stephen Hawking to Max's father back in the early 2000s. Due to a coincidence of names, Max and his father shared the same name, which led to the mix-up of Max being approached instead of his father. I questioned Max about the purpose behind the call about some old email. Hawkins had been dead for almost 20 years. What's up with that? Max's response was sort of stoic. He's working on it. Working on what? The device, he said. What kind of device? Max's answer was vague, hinting at some sort of perpetual motion machine that his father was supposedly building in his workshop. Despite Max's best attempts at explanation, he honestly could not describe it. But knowing his father, this was not entirely surprising. Max's father is a man of extraordinary intellect. During his childhood in Atlanta, he sought refuge from the sweltering summer heat in the air-conditioned confines of the public library. To discourage loiters, the library restricted him to rooms filled only with science and philosophy books, hoping the boredom would drive him away. Instead, these restrictions only fueled his insatiable curiosity. By age 7, he had read and mastered the entire algebra section of the Atlanta Public Library. Max told me a story long ago how at age 8, while attending a math class with his sister, who was in the 12th grade, he solved a complex algebra problem that the teacher had presented as a challenge to the students. The equation proved that 1 was equal to 0, and they had to see why it was wrong. There was murmured laughter when the young Max raised his hand to answer. Even funnier was that the teacher had to have his father stand on a chair to reach the blackboard when he stood in front of the class to show the answer. Amazed, the teacher just had him sit back with his sister. By age 10, he was tutoring high school students in calculus and trigonometry. His mathematical prowess eclipsed all of his teachers and professors, leading to a brief and unsatisfying stint in college, which he abandoned from a combination of boredom with the math curriculum and the challenges posed by dyslexia. Max Sr.'s professional journey as a young man was very successful, from redesigning an important component of a nuclear reactor's cooling system, then later passing the Florida Electrical Contractors test with a perfect score on his first attempt. However, it was in the early 1990s when the story truly began, when Max Sr. found a puzzling footnote in a collection of published papers written by Albert Einstein. Einstein alluded to an idea that would later become the crux of an epiphany. These equations, in the footnotes, stuck themselves firmly in the back of his mind. Something about them didn't make sense. He thought about it constantly. However, it would be much later that he actually formalized the idea into a hypothesis about what Einstein was actually referring to. And even later still, before he could conceive of a way to use the idea in a practical manner. I asked, but what does this have to do with the FBI? Max just shrugged. When I explained to them that I wasn't my dad and gave them his phone number, they pretty much just hung up on me. I asked Max, did your dad actually get an email from Stephen Hawking? Max looked at me with a smile on his face. He has it framed on his wall. If you want to know more, you should probably just talk to him. I did just that.